First at 8, some patients needing the life-sustaining treatment of dialysis are on long waiting lists to get into outpatient clinics, and this is all due to staffing shortages.
Fox 12's Sarah Hurwitz has more on the strain that's being put on hospitals and particularly one man's struggle.
Brian Hastings spent more than a month in the hospital getting dialysis treatment when he is otherwise healthy and did not need to be there. But because he could not get into an outpatient clinic, that was really the only option. A doctor familiar with Hastings' case says it is a problem that many are facing. For Brian Hastings, dialysis is critical. How vital is this treatment for you?
So with me being a stage 4 kidney patient, if I didn't have dialysis, I would not live long.
On December 9th, Hastings says he had a fistula surgery, a procedure that joins an artery to a vein before a patient gets dialysis treatment. And he says he spent about a week in recovery at Kaiser Permanente's Sunnyside Medical Center.
I was ready to check out. They're like, hey, how would you like to leave today? I said, excellent. I could see my friends, I could have Christmas. They're like, yeah, we can't, there's no room for an outpatient. You have to spend the holidays here at the hospital.
Otherwise healthy and able to function on a daily basis, but confined to the hospital instead. Hastings spent more than a month in the hospital getting dialysis because he had no other option and could not get a seat in an outpatient clinic.
Essentially, the problem is that there's a lack of staffing in the outpatient dialysis units. And so, when we discharge patients, we need to have an outpatient dialysis chair for them to go to. Otherwise, they end up just coming back to the emergency department.
Dr. Micah Thorpe is a nephrologist with Kaiser Permanente, and he says he saw Hastings a couple of times in the hospital.
Right now, there are patients in the hospital who otherwise would not be in the hospital. They'd be able to go home if it weren't for the fact that there's no place to dialyze them as an outpatient. It's something that's worsened kind of gradually over the last several months. The current surge, I think, has probably accelerated that. And
Dr. Thorpe says this is putting a major strain on hospital systems.
I've been doing this over 20 years. I've never seen anything like this. We, I think, are reaching a crisis point. It's scary. I worry a lot about what's going to happen to patients. I worry about our capacity to take care of them both in the hospital and in the outpatient dialysis setting. We are really reaching a point where the system seems to be cracking under the pressure.
With COVID putting limits on visitors, Hastings says the isolation was extremely difficult.
The hospital tried to do whatever they could to support me and make sure I was active and busy, giving me the freedoms I needed. But at the end of the day, I'm not living life. And I was in Clackamas. My home is Beaverton. And I couldn't be with my friends and family.
He's, I think, pretty illustrative of what a lot of patients go through. It's depressing, it's anxiety provoking. We do the best we can to try to give people as much interaction as possible.
And they both agree this setup is not working.
The problem is clearly staff. We need nurses. We need nurses who can do dialysis. We need them in the outpatient dialysis units and dialysis techs as well.
It's very vitally important that we have these chairs available for everyone. And so people have their own sanity, because I was not doing well with isolation.
And Fox 12 reached out to the outpatient clinic provider that Hastings was trying to get into. He says that's DaVita, to get a sense of what's happening. It issued this statement saying staffing shortages during this challenging time have impacted our admissions process. Because the most important factor in any decision we make is patient safety, we can't accept more patients than we can safely treat. Alongside others in the Oregon dialysis community, we're doing everything we can in close partnership and alignment with the Oregon Health Authority. And another dialysis outpatient provider in the Portland metro area says that it is impacted by workforce shortages and is making changes to provide quality care for patients, including active recruitment for a dialysis nursing residency program. Now, Dr. Thorpe says that health leaders have also been talking with lawmakers and the Oregon Health Authority on how to fix the staffing crisis. In studio, Sarah Hurwitz, Fox 12 Oregon.